Knowledge, it ain't free. You gotta pay attention to Pass the Wire TV.
To Pass the Wire TV, your number one source for horse racing news and interviews, handicapping analysis, betting insights, and more. Pass the Wire TV covers the biggest races at the best tracks.
Garnet and Luis Saez to win the Belmont Stakes at Saratoga.
The Grey Wizard is absolutely flying. Champagne won. The Grey Wizard. Oh, it's very close. Leave it to the judge.
Like, share, and subscribe to Pass the Wire TV. Nobody does it better.
Hey, Shore Bet Coffee. Put that giddy up in your cup. That giddy up in your cup. Shore Bet Coffee.
Enter the world of Kingdom Nutrition, your number one source for healthy horses and fast finishes. Make sure your horses stay strong and healthy with the balanced mineral profile of Healthy Bones. This veterinarian recommended supplement helps foals, weanlings, and yearlings grow and develop. Healthy Bones also helps speed up recovery so your horses can stay in training longer and race more often. Plus, Appetite, the amazing product for your horses. Is your horse a poor eater? Does he dunk his grain in his water bucket? Do you believe he may have ulcers? Are you tired of paying for expensive drugs which offer only temporary relief? Why not try Appetite, the amazing product which is 100% all natural, produced by nature? Appetite contains more than 300 herbs, grasses, and wildflowers to help your horses look and feel amazing. Your cost for a 1-month supply is only $99. It comes with an unconditional money-back guarantee if you're not 100% satisfied with the results. Call Justin at Kingdom Nutrition today.
Hey, what do you say to everybody? Gio Setti with you on Pass the Wire TV. Thank you for tuning in and being a part of Pass the Wire TV. I know that you're here because A, you're a horse player and a gambler, or B, a horse racing enthusiast, or C, both of those two, and also a handicapper, or D, a very, very seasoned handicapper, and you like and you enjoy taking in additional opinions on the races that are covered, or you're brand new to the game. Whether you're A, B, C, or D, all right, I always feel that the information I'm providing will definitely be worthwhile to listen to, because I am one that has been through the trenches. Some things come with time. And you know what? 4+ decades, not years, 4+ decades in the trenches, handicapping, playing, betting, wagering, across the board, all year round, season by season, track over track, thoroughbred racing galore. But anyway, tonight, as I'm recording this, it's December 16th on a Monday night. So Monday night, I'm already starting to think of the big races and game plan, the big races that are going to happen over the weekend that is upon us. Like I said, the thought process starts as early as the Monday night prior, and obviously much, much sooner when you're talking about the magnitude of the grade ones that you know are on the horizon weeks in advance. I'm mentioning that because tonight's show, because many people have asked me, and I'm going to break it down for you and sort of elaborate as best I can. What do I do when I call and end up with my Precise handicap? What leads me to that and reasons for that? First things first, there are many public handicappers who I have great respect for. It's their style and the way they do things. But most people, if you're on the outside looking in, gathering information on different shows, At best, they may offer, and same thing in the daily racing form, the panel of handicappers will give their top 3 for a set event. And some have the ability to write more because they're the lead writer and you can see their comments, and others don't. It's just the top 3. Well, I haven't worked with a top 3 in the very longest time, for a couple of the decades. When I say precise order, and the reason why every single race, regardless of the level, regardless of the track, it's always a deep dive. So 2 words to keep in mind, and I'll tell you how I come up with the precise order all the time and the reasons behind it. Two words to remember. Remember precise and remember preparation. Now, what does it mean, preparation, to be prepared? Well, for example, what I have in front of me right here, it's Monday night. This Saturday at Gulfstream, 4 consecutive stakes races. 3 on the turf, 1 on the dirt. Races 8, 9, 10, and 11. The Janus Sprint, the Grade 3 Harlan's Holiday, the Grade 2 Fort Lauderdale, a race I really like on the turf, and the Grade 3 Suwannee River Mile on the turf. Case in point, if the field's been drawn and I have accessibility to all the horses entered in the race and the past performances, I now have the ability to begin my preparation. I know the field. Now, obviously, we all have working lives. We all have busy schedules. Many of you watching have young children, families. I've been there. I understand how a lot of that gobbles up your time and your schedule. That's life, right? But in terms of the game and your action and your horse racing enthusiasm, how often do you play is measured here too. Only because how often you play depends on how often you need to prepare. Now, say you're an average or new handicapper and you're limited with time, then I know lots that I share will be worthwhile information to you. And if you depend entirely on the experience, advice of a handicapper, like many that follow my colleagues here on Past the Wire or myself, then it's good for you to know the process that we go through so you can make a more informed decision at the window on any given racing day. Obviously, because you're wagering your dollars, it's always your choice. Now, there's 2 ways to go through it. You could build your experience as your own handicapper and then leverage that by listening to others, or you could be a player who just doesn't have any time to do the legwork. And believe me, it's an extremely involved process. This is not, I hear stories of people, they don't even get the racing form. They get the track program and they're picking horses, glancing at it for a few minutes. Blind squirrel could find a nut, as they say. Anybody could pick a number and be successful, or a color and be successful. You know where I'm getting at. Preparation is essentially important. So I mentioned those 4 races at Gulfstream this Saturday because the accessibility is there. And I know I'm going to be engaged in the process because I'm going to be looking to make money. So if I have a particular card, or when I say card, the full card, and I'm going to get into the nature of this show, my precise handicap and the reasons behind it, and why do I come to that conclusion, and how invaluable it is for you as a player to have. But I know the amount of work involved. I've spoken about it often, race review. All right? With 2-year-olds, it's a little easier. because you don't have as many races to review, especially with first-time starters or second. First-time starters, it's about understanding their workout tab, knowing the bonds. Obviously, you have knowledge of the jockeys, but in a 2-year-old race, you don't have the full embodiment of the same lengthy body of work. We have numerous races, and at different distances and/or at different tracks. So the time to spend in race review isn't as significant. But then again, if you're dealing with 2-year-olds, colts or fillies, you got to do a lot more work with the bloodlines. You have to understand pedigree, and you got to connect all the dots. You got to understand the whole embodiment that brings that horse to the racetrack to begin his career. Or if he's had a few starts, the things that you need to look for in the starts, whether they were successful or not, as you watch the races. And that's going to be another topic altogether. But the reason why I mention that, because if you're dealing with 2-year-olds, you're still going through the process, but it's a lot less work time-wise. But now if you're dealing with seasoned horses, 3-year-olds and up, especially some older horses that are, 5-year-old mares, 6-year-olds, 7-year-olds, even 8-year-olds, their entire track record, the full body of work, all matters. Now, look, I'm not that crazy. With the older horses, if a horse is 5 years old and I'm familiar with him, I don't have to go back and watch his 2-year-old races or 3-year-old races. But I have to be aware of the form that he demonstrated in all these specific races that he ran beforehand. His race times, the track condition, the company he kept, his willingness to run late in races. How is he in the backstretch? How does he break? Is he consistent with everything? So, yeah, sometimes with all the horses in the average claiming race, I don't have to watch as many races because I'm familiar with the horse already. And that comes with experience. Now, sure, the daily race reform provides records, how they are on the turf, how they are on wet tracks. You see the statistics when you're looking at the horse. So you have those numbers in front of you. Lifetime in the money, lifetime at the distance, lifetime at a particular track, and so on. But you still need to, if you aren't aware of the colts, fillies, or older horse ability, then you need to see with your own eyes what they bring to the table with their best races, so you know what their potential is. It's almost like, you could look at the back of a baseball card and see the statistics, but you need to know a lot more about the player and what they bring to the game, more than just their production. Now, we're in a production business in racing, so obviously that's important. But how often do you see a horse who, of course, you got those specific races where the whole field only has 1 win or 2 wins, and they're stuck in that specific division, and they're trying to break through to the next. So who gets their second win, right? Same thing like horses stepping up from the allowance to a listed stakes race, or from a grade 3 now facing grade 2 company for the first time. So without getting too far off the topic, precise order. Why is that? And let me tell you something. Please, in the comments, let me know. How many handicappers, public handicappers, that you know that will offer not only the full card cap, because many do full card analysis, absolutely, but at the same time provide a deep dive and precise order based on the size of the field, up to 6 precise. Sometimes I even go to 7. And here's why, okay? It's all part of preparation. Come race day, if you have a full card handicap, or even if you are just handicapping 4 stakes races on a given card. I could give you an example of both. So Gulfstream has these 4 stakes races this Saturday, and I'm recording this on Monday night. Pretty late on Monday night. It's after 11 o'clock. But as I begin the process, I know the size of the fields. I don't know who's actually going to make it to the gate. There could be a few scratches. And of course, I have to be aware of also eligibles as well. But it's to my advantage as a handicapper in preparation, and your advantage for someone that is watching Past the Wire TV because they're looking for additional information, or they want stringent advice because they don't have enough time to do their own capping. That's an agent. Who do you trust? I know the folks that are in my corner, and there's going to be plenty of other shows. The ones in my corner know the success that I've had, and it's just a fraction of what I've shared online at Seti Better Days at Twitter or on Past the Wire TV as you watch the shows as we cover many of the stakes races around the year. But to understand the process and trust the process, that's your opinion. Ultimately, it's always going to be your decision when you go to the window, or if you're betting from home, or if you're engaged in a race. Now there's going to be other shows on a specific, I promised another thing. At the conclusion of the show, I'm going to probably say there's going to be a show coming up where I'm going to really elaborate further on triples and superfectas. Because I give out pieces of information at Seti Better Days on Twitter, X, or on Past the Wire TV. But like I said, John and I covered a show talking solely about exactas and our approach. And 2 extremely seasoned guys have a unique, different approach towards exacta wagering. And you too can have a unique, different approach towards exacta wagering. But I do know one thing with triples and or superfectas and multi-race wagering. My deep dives and my precise order carry significant value. And I'm going to give you more of the details why. So I talked about these races at Gulfstream, which are going to be Saturday, and how much time I need to prepare. When I go through my process and watch my races, print out or either read my past performances on a screen and highlight on a screen, or print them out physically, because I'm sort of old school. I like to have my pen in hand and use my highlight pen. But as I go through the process, to me, I'm making my morning lines. Now, sure, eventually the morning lines will surface, but not when I'm printing or viewing the past performances because it's too early. I'm getting the entries when they're first available. There are no morning lines. I just know the entries. But my point here is I have an advantage as long as I'm willing to work hard and be thorough. Again, preparation equals precise. Now, what do I mean by precise? You know how all the handicap is if they're doing a full card or even if they're on a major race? Yeah, ultimately they share who they land on. I do that on Past the Wire TV. John does it. Jim does it. Charles does it. All the guys here at Past the Wire and other, reputable channels, they ultimately share who they land on. But to me, and that's important, because if you have enthusiasm, if you really love a horse, he becomes a single in multi-race wagering, then obviously you land on him as not just a contender, but the winner. But with a precise order handicap, if I have, for an example, an 11-horse field, all right? Like I said, regardless of the distance, regardless of the level of race, more emphasis, of course, listed stakes, grade 3, grade 2, grade 1, big races, the big shows. But if I have a deep field, and I'm going to tell you the approach with a deep field of 11, 12, or 13, as compared to a field that's going 6 furlongs, and there are 6 entered in the race. With the deep fields, it's my job as a handicapper to not only view all the races I need to view and reconcile, dissect, break down, and handicap the past performances. And obviously there are other contributing factors, as we talked about with 2-year-olds. If I got 7 first-time starters and I got 3 horses in a race that ran once or twice, then I have fewer races to watch, and then I have to put more emphasis on my pedigree breakdown, my pedigree handicap, and and if you know, you know, but if you don't know, you need to look up and you need to surface things. Obviously, with my years of experience, I know a lot about the sires and the sires that produced great dams that were successful and so on and so on. But I'm bringing this up because if I have an 11 horse field, to be precise, by default, I'm eliminating 5 of the horses. Now, this is not an easy task sometimes, but you have to be tough on yourself. So I have an 11 horse field, very competitive. I have to recognize and establish who my top 6 or 7 are. Who are the contenders who could potentially win the race? Who's good enough? Who's fast enough? Listen up. So once I eliminate, for example, the 11 horse field and I eliminated 5, or a 12 horse field and I've eliminated 6, I'm left with a 6 horse field. So now I have 6 horses after I've done my preliminaries. That's why you need a lot of time and you have to do this early. You just can't get the racing form the day of the race, never looking at anything and expect to be successful. You could get lucky, but over a period of time, you're not going to be successful. So with that said, if you have 6 remaining in the race, now it's about who do you recognize as the most significant or biggest threat to win the race? Who's the most probable winner? And sometimes my breakdown is, from 100%, my top choice would be 75. That's a strong one. My second choice would be 20, so that's 95. And then the next 3 in my precise order from a win perspective could be 2% or 1% or 5%. Then I get races where my top 2, it's hard to pull them apart. It's almost like a, 55-35 with 10% left with a couple other contenders. But that's not the only reason why that I'm making a precise order. The most important reason, A, there could be scratches in the race. Now, if you're already eliminated horses who shouldn't win, or in your eyes as a handicapper are not fast enough, everything leading to the race, you're siding with others and you're eliminating those guys or gals. But so if there's a scratch, you need to be prepared. And say everybody's running, exotics. This is what I was talking about. Now, I'm not one that plays a multi-race wagering ticket with pick 4s and pick 5s using, 5, 6, or 7 deep. I don't do that. The most lengthy, if I have a single and there's a race where, it fried my brain because I felt like 5 horses could win, then that's a race where I'd have a single in a sequence and I may go 5 deep. But I like to keep my pick 4s and my pick 5s at a maximum of 4 deep. But more important, the more horses who I feel have demonstrated the ability to hit the board, to be part of the mutuals, A on the win end, B on the exacta, C for the triple, and D for the superfecta. Think about how important it is to have that in your arsenal. You're going out to make money. If you're an exotic player like I am, you want to be prepared. Now, if you don't have the time, then you, as a horse racing player, enthusiast, gambler, wagerer, you need to have somebody like myself provide this information, and mostly because you trust that I'm going through the process and working hard and doing everything I'm doing. And the more often you watch Pastor Wire TV, the better understanding you'll get and the more trust you'll gain. And of course, if you follow me on Pastor Wire TV, pastorwire.com, and on Twitter X, it's SETI Better Days, you should know not only the success I've had, but how I have elaborated and how meaningful my deep dive precise handicap is. Not maybe, is. And here's the reason that's probably most pronounced. Remember I talked about preparation? And you never know who's actually going to make it to the gate? But here's the advantage I have, all right? I want to read the board. The object of this sport is to beat the other players. It's pari-mutuel wagering. That's why I say I like to write my own morning line. Do I recognize what the morning line is? Absolutely. Later on. But my goal is to look at my handicap, my precise order, my top 6, 1 through 6, as I deem as probability to win the race. Now, obviously, my 4th, 5th, and 6th choice in precise order, they don't have the same level of winning probability as my 1, 2, and 3. However, A, depending on the race, yeah, they could win, or B, it's more probable that they could likely hit the board in the exotics and make for a very generous exacta, triple, and or superfecta. Okay, it just happened this past weekend. All right, and I have many examples. At Gulfstream Park, in the finale race, I love my top choice, Cugino. In that race, my 3rd choice of my handicap was the 2-horse. In my opinion, he should have been 15, 16, 17 to 1. He was on the board at 44 to 1. When I saw that, I said, you know something? That's entirely in my favor. Because obviously the public or the other cappers out there or the general public, the recreational players, they did not see that horse as a contender in the race. And I had him as a contender, not top choice and not second choice, and a low percentage. But if he's my 3rd choice, he has demonstrated the ability, the things I need to see in race review and race times on paper, demonstrate the ability where he could potentially win. But in this case, I loved my top choice. So he was best suited to be part of my exacta, my triple, and my superfecta. And bam, that race, and many of my followers know this because many of you scored the same way. I'm just giving that race as an example. Last year's Wood Memorial. You could go back on Pastor Wire TV, you could find the show. I did the Wood Memorial. Grade 2 stakes race, Kentucky Derby prep. Do you realize my 3rd choice in that race was Society Man? You know what his odds were at post time? 106 to 1. 106 to 1. Go back and watch the show. Big day for Mr. SETI. You know why? Because I also like the horse that won the race. So if I have the winner, and then my 3rd choice is 106 to 1, and he runs second, it's payday. Exacta was 700 and change. Triple off the charts. Now, I missed the super because I didn't hit the horses underneath him. But it just shows you the value and the value that I'm offering. In fact, that you guys are watching Pastor Wire TV, and you'll follow me if you choose to do so on pastorwire.com and on SETI Better Days. I am putting in the work. I'm working hard. I'm working long hours. I'm working feverish. I'm preparing. I prepare well in advance. I take this serious. If I don't do the work, I can't offer nor can I bet the race unless I've completed my handicap. Also, if I've completed my handicap, if I do a full card cap, then I'm not wasting a handicap. I'm betting every race that I've finalized my handicap and provided my precise order. Now, sure, obviously, we're all limited with capital. I'm going to fluctuate. I'm going to have races where my wagering amount is small or extremely conservative, even if it's at the minimum. $2 exacta, $2 triple, $1 superfecta, $4 double, and so on. But when I have a strong opinion during that race card, another precise order finish, then I'm going to be more aggressive because my opinion from the win end and the others who I consider contenders in a race going 6 deep. I got one other thing to talk to you about, because all I'm talking about is going 6 deep in a 10, 11, 12, 13 horse field. Let's talk about the 6 horse field or the 7 horse field, as we see often in New York or every racetrack. Especially if it's a rainy day and it's off the main track, or it's not fast, it's sloppy, or it's a scheduled 6 furlong sprint, $25,000 claimer, or a grade 3 race on the dirt sprint, and there's only 6. What do? Now, sure, I could take the entire field and be precise, but remember, I still have to eliminate some, like I talked about. So in a 6 or 7 horse field, I shorten the field by only a couple of horses. So if it's a 7 horse field, my precise is generally 4, maybe 5. And I've eliminated 2. It's like they're scratched. To me, I have to be decisive. They don't belong in the race. Even if it's the favorite. If I feel that the favorite, or who would be the favorite, is going to be an underlay and not a good favorite, then I'm looking forward to that. I'll still eliminate him. I can't tell you in my day how many 3 to 5, 4 to 5, even money shots that I've eliminated before even engaging in the race. Okay? Conversely, there's favorites that I feel can't lose and the public's going to back them. Then I start to think about how I'm going to use my precise order to make money in the race. Okay? And that's for another show, because many of you guys are missing opportunities with super keys and triple keys, and I'm going to get into that, and also precise supers and precise triples. But I'm going to close this show out because I was just in the mood to put this out there so you have a better understanding of why do I go 6, sometimes 7 horses deep precise. Because I tell you the truth, mathematically and what I see in race review. Now, sure, I see other things too, because sometimes it's hard to predict, because there are horses who ran out of steam and they're stopping and you don't know who's passing who, and down the lane. That's part of the process. But I've proven, yes, I can predict who's likely to finish 3rd and who's likely to finish 4th, especially if the horse I'm predicting to based on the demographics of the race, the horse I'm predicting to run 3rd or 4th, so let's say 4th. I have him listed 4th, and my top 3 I like more than him. If I'm predicting he's going to run 4th, what if he's a horse that shows early speed, all right? And the race is at 7 furlongs. He's never gone 7 furlongs before, but I think he's shown some grit and tough enough to hang on. Perfect example. He gets passed by better, faster horses, and he hangs on. And like I said, the price varies. Like I said, the board is a strong indicator of how you're going to go and bet the race, and how you're going to explore the exotics involved, and how you're going to use a horse or horses, plural, in your multi-race wagering. Board's very important, okay? Your own, or like I said, if you're not a handicap and you're just listening to Mr. Setti, you go with what I'm sharing, because not only trust that I've done the work, but I'm also putting into play on wagering day, because obviously you get the opportunity for a full card precise handicap well in advance. or say you got it the same day. And how do you approach it? Well, you approach it by looking at the precise order and looking at the odds on the board before post time. All right. And if I have a second, third, not even second, say my top choice is up there at 17-1. All right. Then I found what could be a diamond in the rough. Because if he's my top choice at 17-1, then it's obvious the others who are getting a lot more money at the window weren't as appealing to me during my handicap. Obviously, another scenario could be where the morning lines match. Morning line maker makes it 8-1, it's 8-1 on the board. Makes it 15-1, 15-1 on the board. But you know what? You have to recognize both underlays and overlays in your mind first. Your opinion matters more than anything. Like I said, you're busy, life busy, your full-time job, babies at home, you're a big-time lover, you're romancing your wife all the time, or if you're a woman watching, you're romancing your husband. That's all good. That's part of life. You go to the movies, you cook dinners, you go see shows, you have company over. If you don't have the time to do the work, but you like to bet horses, you're in the right place. You're in the right place. Because you have to make a decision. Who do you listen to? And who do you trust that's doing the work and putting an awful lot of time in? Now, I could just be saying it, but I'm doing it. It's your decision whether you believe me or not. But can't argue with success. Sometimes I'm my worst enemy. You know why? Because if I cap a race, so in a 10-race card, I cap all the races, I got to bet every one. Because I don't want a good quality handicap to go uncashed. So I worry about my findings surfacing nice prices and I don't have anything on it. But obviously, I got to manage my overall bankroll and my budget, my personal life and all that. But and go stronger, whether it's race 2 or race 8, the feature. Based on the circumstances of the board and my precise order. But remember, precise comes from preparation. Why do I list 6 precise? Why not 3? Because I'm shooting myself in the foot. A, if there are scratches, it's automatic. But B, if I want to make money and I see odds on the board, if I've eliminated some horses in the race prior to the race day, and now I'm left with my finalized precise 6, don't I have an advantage? Because I'm looking at the odds of all 6 horses. I know who I feel has a greater probability to win, and now I'm going to use that to my advantage in my wagering. I'm not going to be, lost. I'm not going to be drawing straws. Who do I use underneath? Who do I use to make up my superfecta key? Who do I use in deeper gimmicks? Oh, I have a single. I have a single and I have a 2 deep in my pick 5. I got to go 5 deep in this race. Who do I use? Oh, shit. I only have 3. I only use 3. Don't you understand? Gabish. You got to be prepared. So with that said, I'm going to say goodnight. My next show, I promise you, is going to be talking about triples. I can't say trifecta. I'm old school. Triples and superfectas. Solely that. If you're interested in exactas and you missed the show, go check out the show that John and I put together on exacta wagering. The show after that is going to be talking about my approach, something I'm red hot. I'm crazy red hot, is the pick 5. I don't play pick 6s very often, unless they're 20-cent ones. I don't do dollar pick 6s. But I have gotten my grips on my pick 5 wagering. And I last week I had 4 consecutive days nailing the pick 5 at different amounts. And I just missed a life-changing pick 5, as most of you know, at Turfway 2 weeks earlier. But I had a good year with pick 5s in 2024, and I look to continue that in 2025. With that said, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the other shows, and gotta keep punching. God bless you. God bless your families, and I'll see you next time here on Past the Wire TV.
Tracking trips at Past the Wire. There is no better time than now to join and ride with this clan. We'll be your second set of expert trained eyes. We ain't gonna buy you a fish. Sure, we'll give you some, but more importantly, we'll show you how to fish and make you a better. CAWs, sharks in the water, no problem. We'll go against anybody, and we have the track record to prove it. Big days, big pools, and select days all year long. We'll outplay them all. Looking for an ace? You're in the right place. Want to find that diamond? Be with us. Want to know more? Just ask a member or visit us at pastthewire.com and check out the Tracking Trips page. Nobody does it better.
You're watching Past the Wire TV.
Tracking trips at Past the Wire, your second set of eyes in horse racing.
Solomini,
Be a
a
member.
top 10 first crop sire in 2023, standing at McMahon of Saratoga. 14 first crop winners, including My Shady Lady, winner of the $500,000 New York Stallion Series 5th Avenue Stakes, Grade 2 winner, Winstock, and Stakes winner, Solo Shot. Solomini, the 7th leading freshman sire and the only top 10 freshman sire with a Grade 1 or Grade 2 winner. He sired a $700,000 two-year-old at the OBS April sale. His juveniles sold for nearly 6 figures on average, more than 12 times the stud fee. Solomini, a controversial DQ from being a Grade 1 winner by 2-time Horse of the Year Curlin, standing at McMahon of Saratoga Thoroughbreds.
They breed the best and hope for the best.
Macoma broke well on the outside.
But you don't expect to get speed like this.
It is Macoma, the one to catch. Macoma has a 5-length lead in this Grade 1 corner. Outside, Macoma continues the battle on down at the rail. It is Macoma who's going to win the Met Mile.
Nobody does it better.